So, good afternoon. I'm back after months. I think it was before Thanksgiving was the last time, or maybe right after Thanksgiving, was the last update on the Centurion 650B conversion build. It's been a very long, snowy, ice-cold winter here in the Northeast, central Massachusetts. Really just has been brutal, and I'm getting old, and I'm just losing my patience for it. So I haven't been riding a lot at all. But I have been doing some work on this bike. I've got some Tektro long reach brakes on here, which gives you a hint that I am actually going through with the 650B build. I was not sure about whether, when I actually put the 700C on there just to make sure everything worked on the bike, and that 700C set of wheels felt really nice, and it can be very tempting just to be like, all right, just leave them on there, it's fine. They had like 30 mil wide tires, but over the winter I said, you know what, I'm gonna build a set of wheels. I'm gonna build a set of 650B wheels, and I did, and here they are. The big unveiling. These are Parimoto Panaracer Percenti Parimoto 27.5 or 650B by 38C. So these are 38 wide. They only measure about 35, which is sort of the risk that you take when you're ordering tires, because you're not sure exactly how they're going to fit on what rim. I had a 42 that didn't really fit in the old 650B wheel that I used. So it's, it doesn't always translate, but I am very happy with how this came out. I built these wheels from scratch using Dior hubs. I respaced the rear hub to 130 millimeters. It was 135 millimeters. It's a lot easier to find 135 millimeter hubs hanging around, in my house at least, than 130. So I kind of respaced, and since I was building the wheel anyways, I didn't really have to worry about dish so much, since I was going to be doing that anyways when I built the wheel. I went through the process. I watched the Park Tool. Good old Calvin had a nice video on how to measure for spoke length, and it was perfect, and I was pretty dead on. The spokes fit fine. I ordered them. They're DT Swiss competition spokes. A little bit of a splurge, but I figured why get cheap spokes. I did get, the rims are Alex Rims DM18s 650B. They're black. They're nice. I just couldn't bring myself to spend the money for like a set of Velocity rims or Velo Orange or whatever. They were like twice the price. I just couldn't. I was splurging a little bit, but I kind of hit the wall on the actual rims that I purchased. But these are nice. They're drilled for Schrader, which I did not know. There probably was a box to check when I was ordering the wheels. But I ordered the rims first, and then I measured using the Park Tool video what the spoke length should be. It wasn't as complicated as I thought it would be. It was just making sure that you had the apples to apples, like measuring what they said to measure, and typed it into that spokecalc.io or whatever it is, that website, and it sent out 278 millimeters for the front on both sides, and then 278 non-drive side on the back, 276 drive side on the front. On the drive side. And I don't know, they went together lovely. I love building wheels. I don't do it too often, but and I've never done it where I actually measured the spokes, that kind of thing. I've just rebuilt wheels essentially. But I did check off the box, or I didn't check off the box for the Schrader valve or Presta valve. So there probably was another actual product that had these same rims drilled for Presta valves. Not a big deal, because I ordered tubes and they were too big. They were just, I popped a few trying to get them on, and it was just, these tires were extremely hard to get on the rims. Took some soapy water, some real elbow grease, and a few tubes that I went through. But while I was ordering the Schrader valve tubes that I needed, and I got them in a smaller size. The ones that I had ordered in the Presta were 26 by 1.75, which 26-inch tubes is just fine for 650B. It's harder to find 27.5, dedicated tubes in smaller sizes. So I went to a 1.5 with the Trader valve ones, my second chance to order them. It was a much better fit. I didn't video the final fit, but they went together much easier, because I think what helped me was I had the Presta valve tubes, and I did get some in without popping them, and I just inflated it as high as I could, safely, or without worrying that I was going to explode. And I just left them there for like 4 or 5 days, just stretching out, taking some shape. And that made it really a lot easier. I was able to finesse just a little bit of tire lever at the end, but just a little bit, which I was pretty surprised with on that new round of trying. Because the first time I actually broke a tire lever, which I don't think I've ever broke a tire lever before. So first time for everything. So these inflated up nice. I got the other one hanging around somewhere. You know, I wouldn't say they're like terribly light, or I don't know. It's I don't know. It's not a big deal for me. This is kind of a bike where I just wanted to do this. But I figured I have these nice wheels now. They could be portable if this frame doesn't work out, but I do love this bike. I love the color. I love the Tange 2 tubing. I kind of like how I set it up. And yeah, so we're going to put these tires on. I do have the 36T cassette. That's the one area where I really did kind of struggle with when I was building this, was getting a good chain line with the crankset and getting it all to play nice with the cassette. I do have a 40-tooth cassette 9-speed that I would like to use. I don't know. I would like to have a sub 1-to-1 ratio. Now I'm slightly over. I've got a 38 in the front and a 36 in the back, so that's a little bit harder than I want it to be. 38-40 in the back, I think would be a little better. But we're gonna do the maiden voyage of putting these wheels on. These have not, in their current state, they have not been on this bike with these tires inflated and all that jazz, so that's going to be fun. And then I got to cinch up the brakes, because I did have to put some new cable, not new cable, but I got to re-cinch the cable for these new brakes. And then oh, the other thing that I wanted to maybe do is I have bar end shifter, and I have a nice cool new old stock, I don't know if it's new old stock or not, Shimano 600 down tube shifter, which is really cool. But down tube shifters are, I don't know, I don't like reaching down. I lose my balance, it feels weird. I may try to do a bar end here. I think I'm going to do exterior housing, just have it come over here, and then it should pull just like this one does. And I'm going to see, actually, because not all down tube shifters can do this, but I wanted to see if I could convert this down tube shifter and stick it on here, give it a little bit of bling. I had a Dura Ace one, but it didn't fit. There was like a fitment issue. It didn't quite align the right way. But yeah, we're going to see how that works. And then it's pretty grubby outside. It's getting up into the 40s, maybe 50s and 60s next week. But it's still really wet and gross. You have all the snowbanks kind of seeping into the road. I don't want to get this bike all wet right away. Although I will say, once I get these tires on, I'm going to try to fit some fenders. I have an old set of fenders from a bike that I had built for my son. Then I gave it away, but I wanted to keep the fenders. They're those nice SKS, whatever they are. I want to see if they fit, because of the 35 as opposed to the 38. That I have the 38s, but they measure 35. See if the fenders fit. Like, I don't know, that would be pure rando coolness to have the fenders on there, I think. But we'll see. All right. So, moment of truth. I think it's going to be fine. But let's see. I probably will have to adjust the railer high limit stop at a certain point, or maybe even the low limit stop too. There we go. Get in there. Slides right in because I had spaced. I went with the 130 spacing as not to really upset the apple cart with the wheel. And just kind of halfway in the dropout there. I don't know. I know you can kind of like, I can yank it back, but I think that affects like shifting, you know? Nice and tight. You know Sheldon Brown, you know that he says you can just crank these things down. Yeah, looks good. I like it. Yeah. Sweet. And then, this was the whole shebang. To get these long reach brakes, which did plenty of room to go up. Yeah, I like it. Pretty sweet. Let's see how we... Yeah, it works all right. Pretty well aligned. Got friction, so there's no real penalty. There we go. Sweet. Yeah, a little noisy on the back pedaling, but we can fix that a little bit. Awesome. Sweet. Now let's do the front. All right, now let's check the front. Now watch, the front won't fit, and I wasn't paying attention to the front the whole time. I'm pretty sure it will. I'm gonna just get down here. Things will fall on me over there. Front wheel was a joy to build because you don't have to worry about dishing for the cassette or anything like that. This went together really nice. The thing about wheels, building wheels, is you just have to be patient. Like, you just incrementally tightening spokes round and around and around. 32 holes, 32 holes, 32 holes. And then all of a sudden, almost by like this like force, all of a sudden, well, it is force, tension. All of a sudden the tension just, the wheel starts to like really feel like a wheel. And you're like, all right, this is how tight these are supposed to be. Oh yeah, plenty of room. Plenty more actually to play with. But yeah, oh, sweet. I love it. I don't know. I think I can fit a fender, honestly. The back will be tight. I might have to do a little cutout. I don't know. We'll see. But I might try. It could be cool. Although, am I really that much of a wet weather rider? Not really. But awesome. Here we go. Just about it. Try to do this bar end shifter thing. I don't know if I'm going to do that right now. I'll wait. We'll see. Wow. I'm just really happy with how this turned out. I think it looks great. I am totally an aesthetic kind of guy, as well as function, but it's got to look good in order for you to truly enjoy the bike. It's got to look good. I love how this looks. Can't wait to figure out fenders, possibly. I also can't wait to see how it rides with the 650B. I'm going to let some air out of the tires a little bit. But, I don't know. As soon as it dries out a little bit, I think I'll give it a test ride. I don't want to have to, like, wash this thing again. You know, it's such a grind, literally, at this time of year with all the muck out there. But it'll be a lesson in, delayed gratification. But thanks for joining me. I had fun with this one. This is not the final chapter. I'm still working on this whole shifter situation, and the 1X kind of bugs me a little bit. I can't quite nail that. I think I need a sort of narrower chain maybe, or I don't know, mix and match some cassettes until I figure out what's not rubbing in those higher gears. And it's not cross chaining and too terribly in the lower gears. It's a balance, but I look forward to riding this thing. It's going to be fun. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.